Nikola Tesla once claimed he could build entire machines inside his mind and run them for weeks without touching a single tool. No sketches, no prototypes, no trial and error. Just imagination. He would mentally assemble every gear, every wire, every moving part, then watch the machine operate inside his head. If something broke, he fixed it there first. Only after the design worked perfectly in his mind would he build it in the real world. And almost every time, it worked. It sounds unbelievable, almost mystical. But behind this strange habit was a powerful mental training method, one that explains not only Tesla's genius, but a skill most people today are quietly losing: the ability to think clearly. Because in a world full of distractions, notifications, and endless information, most of us rarely sit alone with our own thoughts. And that's where Tesla's secret begins. Think about the last time you tried to focus deeply on something, just thinking. For many people, that kind of concentration lasts only a few minutes before the mind drifts away. A message arrives. A thought interrupts another thought. Modern life has trained us to react constantly. But invention, strategy, and real insight require the opposite. They require mental stillness. Tesla understood this long before smartphones or social media existed, and he deliberately trained his mind to achieve it. As a young boy growing up in the Austrian Empire, Tesla had a vivid imagination that sometimes frightened him. He would see intense images in his mind, flashes of scenes, machines, and shapes appearing almost like hallucinations. At first, these visions felt uncontrollable, but instead of suppressing them, he began practicing control over his mental imagery. He trained himself to intentionally picture objects in his mind and manipulate them as if they were real. He could rotate them, take them apart, rebuild them. Over time, this ability became incredibly precise. When Tesla imagined a machine, he didn't just see a vague outline. He saw every bolt, every motion, every vibration of energy running through it. In his autobiography, Tesla wrote that he could mentally operate his inventions for long periods and detect flaws before ever building them. He would run these mental experiments again and again, and when he finally constructed the machine in reality, the design often required almost no adjustments. For Tesla, imagination wasn't fantasy. It was a laboratory. Today, we call this ability visualization. But Tesla practiced it at a level that few people ever reach, because most people treat imagination as something passive, something that happens automatically when the mind wanders. Tesla treated it like a skill, something that could be trained, strengthened, refined. And modern psychology is slowly catching up to what Tesla intuitively understood more than a century ago. Your brain does not fully distinguish between real experience and vividly imagined experience. Athletes know this well. Olympic competitors often rehearse their routines entirely in their minds. A skier visualizes every turn of the slope. A basketball player imagines every shot before taking it. When the brain rehearses an action mentally, many of the same neural pathways activate as if the body were actually performing it. Tesla was doing the same thing, but with machines. Imagine designing a motor in your mind, watching it spin, listening for friction, testing its limits, adjusting its shape, all without touching a single tool. Tesla once said that he didn't rush to build anything physically because he could already see the finished result in his imagination. First came the mind. The workshop came later. And this habit reveals something important about how great thinkers approach problems. They don't immediately reach for external solutions. They go inward first. They think longer than most people are comfortable thinking. Today, we often confuse speed with intelligence, quick answers, instant responses, immediate results. But the mind that changes the world usually works differently. It slows down, it explores, it turns ideas over again and again. Tesla would walk for hours while mentally refining his inventions. Sometimes entire breakthroughs came not from frantic effort, but from quiet thinking. And that leads to a deeper insight hidden inside Tesla's strange habit. Imagination is not only for creativity, it is also a tool for clarity. Most people struggle with overthinking. They replay conversations. They worry about decisions. They imagine worst-case scenarios. But Tesla used imagination differently. Instead of letting thoughts control him, he directed them. He turned imagination into a controlled experiment. This shift from passive thinking to intentional thinking is what made his mind so powerful. And it's something anyone can begin practicing today. Try a simple experiment. The next time you face a difficult problem or decision, resist the urge to immediately search for answers. Instead, close your eyes and build the situation inside your mind. Picture the variables, the outcomes, the consequences. Run the scenario forward like a simulation. Ask yourself what happens next. Then adjust one element. Run the simulation again. This is essentially what Tesla was doing with machines, but the same process can work for decisions, strategies, and ideas. Your mind becomes a testing ground before reality does. There is another surprising benefit to this habit. Your thinking slows down, but your understanding deepens. Instead of reacting to the first idea that appears, you begin seeing patterns, connections, possibilities that weren't obvious before. This is why many inventors, philosophers, and strategists throughout history valued solitude. Because imagination requires space. Noise interrupts it, distraction weakens it, and silence strengthens it. Tesla spent large parts of his life alone with his thoughts. Some people interpreted this as eccentric. But for Tesla, solitude wasn't isolation. It was where his ideas were born. Inside quiet moments, he built entire worlds of possibility. And when those ideas finally appeared in reality, electric motors, wireless power concepts, radio technology, they often seem to emerge suddenly. But they had already existed for years inside his mind. This is the twist most people miss when they think about genius. Genius rarely appears out of nowhere. It is usually the result of long, invisible mental work, hours of thinking no one sees, experiments that happen only in the imagination. Tesla's strange habit was not just a quirk of personality. It was deliberate training, a way of sharpening the most powerful tool humans possess, the mind itself. And in a strange way, Tesla's lesson may be even more important today than it was in his time. Because modern life constantly pulls attention outward. Notifications, algorithms, endless streams of information. We are surrounded by tools that think for us. Search engines provide instant answers. Artificial intelligence generates ideas. But the danger of this convenience is that we slowly stop exercising our own thinking. And like any ability, imagination weakens if it isn't used. Tesla's habit reminds us that the mind is capable of far more than reacting to the world. It can simulate the world, explore possibilities, create solutions before they exist. But this ability only grows when we practice it. When we spend time alone with our thoughts, when we slow down enough to imagine deeply. Nikola Tesla once said that the present is theirs, but the future is mine. He believed this because the future first appears in the imagination, before a machine exists, before a discovery is made, before a breakthrough happens. Someone imagines it. They picture it clearly enough that it begins to feel real. Tesla trained this ability every day, not with complicated rituals, just with a quiet habit. He closed his eyes and built the future inside his mind. And the strange thing is, the mind you use to imagine that future is the same one you carry with you right now.